How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Cine Critique. I hope everyone's steering clear from the coronavirus. For this video, I'm going to be breaking down and explaining the new comic book movie Bloodshot starring Vin Diesel. I'm going to be going over the beginning, middle, and end of Bloodshot, as well as where things could be headed in the future. There are going to be some major spoilers in this review, so if you haven't had a chance to check the film out yet, you should probably stop watching. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe to my channel for more movie breakdowns, explanations, and reviews. Thank you for clicking this video. Now let's get to our breakdown of Bloodshot. So for those of you who don't know, Bloodshot is based on the Valiant comic book series of the same name, and it pretty much follows the same story structure in the movie as in the comic books. Bloodshot has been in development hell for almost a decade now. It just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. Jared Leto was actually supposed to star in it at first. Obviously that didn't happen, and it took almost 6 years for Bloodshot to get off the ground before going into production in 2018. The movie centers around Ray Garrison, played by Vin Diesel, a Marine who's been in his fair share of war over the years. His body's pretty beat up, and you can tell it's probably time for him to retire, but like in every other movie franchise starring Vin Diesel, retiring doesn't really seem in his plans. It's safe to say that this guy is addicted to combat. All you gotta do is point, and he's there. After coming home from a mission in Mombosa, Ray and his wife are kidnapped by a guy named Martin Axe. Axe ends up killing Ray's wife in front of him before shooting Ray himself in the head. Ray isn't dead though, and he comes back better than ever. What happens next is basically a retelling of RoboCop for the new generation, as you see Ray get resurrected by scientists using the latest cutting-edge nanotechnology to revive him. These nanites are injected into his blood, hence the name Bloodshot, and ends up having his memory completely wiped out, leaving him on a mission to discover who he really is. Bloodshot is guided by Dr. Emil Harding, a scientist that works for RST. Dr. Harding is played by Guy Pearce, who in my opinion is one of the most underrated actors of all time in Hollywood. It's not a big surprise when it's revealed that Guy Pearce is the main villain in this movie. It was pretty obvious after watching the trailer. Ray is now owned by RST, which is why he was brought back to life in the first place, and must carry out jobs on their behalf and is basically their puppet. After a few missions, Ray begins to discover the truth about his past as he uncovers what's really going on, which reminded me a lot of Winter Soldier from Captain America. Bloodshot is borderline invincible due to the new tech flowing through his veins, and with nanobots he's able to do things like shift his mass, integrate with electrical systems, and heal almost instantly from injury. He's able to push himself harder and faster than before, and apparently he's the first dude to ever survive getting a full transplant of abilities. That's the basic groundwork of the plot, and this journey kind of questions whether the life of a soldier belongs to themselves or their country. And when you think about it, soldiers are expected to follow orders blindly, shit when they tell you to shit, eat when they tell you to eat, and Bloodshot shows us just how easily we can be manipulated and brainwashed by the system. The cast is really good here, and Vin Diesel does a solid job playing a tortured soldier tormented by his amnesia. I don't really think Vin Diesel is that good of an actor. He doesn't have a lot of range, but at least he stays in his lane. He knows how to pick his roles, and whether it's Riddick, Fast and the Furious, Triple X, or Bloodshot, he fits the part well. Ray ends up tracking down Axe, the man who killed his wife, and ends up exacting his revenge. The revenge wasn't without its consequences though, as the fight with Axe severely depletes Bloodshot of his nanites, which plays into the ending of the movie. When he returns to his base, Guy Pearce tells him they'll recharge him and explain everything later, which of course turns out to be bullshit. They strap him down, wipe his memory, and admit to him that his wife was never dead to begin with. We find out that Guy Pearce and RST completely made up his backstory, and everything we know up to now about Ray was a lie. Ray was actually dead before the movie started, but RST created this simulation of memories for Ray to have, and within the simulation they can alter how he remembers the death of his wife. More importantly though, RST can change the person who kills Ray's wife to whoever they want their next target to be, hence why he remembered Axe as the killer when he really wasn't. The movie really has times when it reminded me of Memento, which explains why they got Guy Pearce for this movie. His awakening, training, and revival are all scripted by RST to drive him to hunt. It's a mindless killer getting manipulated the whole way through, just like Memento. Bloodshot then gets sent down to hunt his next target named Barris, and this is when shit really gets crazy, setting up the ending of this movie. After an EMP is used to disable the nanomachines, Bloodshot gets captured by a man named Wiggins and uncovers the real truth about his wife. He learns that they've actually been divorced for quite a long time, and it's been years since she's moved on. He's actually been working for RST for 5 years, and it's a punch in the gut for a character that really caught me off guard. Bloodshot does a great job switching things up from what you expect, and this sets the stage up for the thrilling finale. RST tracks Bloodshot down, and after a nice action scene, they manage to capture him. RST tries to erase Bloodshot's memory again, but before Guy Pearce can complete the deletion, this bad girl has a change of heart and frees Bloodshot before the process can be carried out. Using Wiggins, they manage to break the spell, and Katie goes rogue, forcing Tibbs and Dalton to wear these special suits to try to kill Bloodshot. It's a pretty awesome finale scene, even if Dalton looks like a bootleg Dr. Octopus. This forces Bloodshot to go full beast mode, with the nanites turning his eyes completely red and his skin completely white. Unfortunately, this zaps a lot of his energy, and even though he manages to kill Dalton and Tibbs, he's in full lockdown mode. After Guy Pearce finds out where Bloodshot is at, he manages to shoot a grenade that completely decimates Bloodshot, who has to push himself to the brink in order to recharge, and once he does that, he goes directly to Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce grabs him by the neck, and that's when Bloodshot detonates a grenade, blowing the two up. Now, whether Dr. Harding actually died is up for debate. I know there are a lot of theories floating around that say he could have injected himself with the nanites to regenerate and survive, and that's a theory I think is legit. He's always going to be there if they need him, and with more Bloodshot movies most likely coming out in the future, I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a future plot twist. In the final few scenes of Bloodshot, Ray wakes up and he remembers everything. Wiggins has upgraded Bloodshot, and with his new chick Katie, the two head off into the sunset together. They've decided that their past doesn't define who they are, and they can choose who they want to be going forward. So looking forward, Bloodshot 2 is yet to be confirmed, but the film only cost $42 million to make, which is pretty modest, especially for a comic book movie, so it should be relatively easy for Bloodshot to make a nice profit for Sony and Paramount. I think for a second film, the best story to adapt would be the fourth comic book release of Bloodshot. In that one, Bloodshot ends up having his nanites removed as he tries to live a normal life, but he's pulled back into the game when a number of shootings are carried out by people who look like him. Whether they do that or not, I have no clue. Your guess is as good as mine, but there is a lot to play with in the Bloodshot universe, and I'd be shocked if we don't see more sequels. But all in all, guys, I very much enjoyed Bloodshot. It was predictable at times, but it also did have some really cool twists and turns. This is a movie that doesn't try to reinvent the wheel, but considering the amount of superhero movies we have, this is one that I'd actually watch again. I gotta give this a solid B, and it's one I recommend if you're looking for a good time. Anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Bloodshot. Comment below and tell me what you think. Hit that subscribe button if you like this video, cause trust me, I have a lot more where this came from. And remember, stories may fade, but real legends never die.